All right, welcome back to the Parkour UK podcast. Today we have Noah Harwood, the founder, owner, and operator of Street Media, the incredibly innovative parkour clothing brand, now events company, and a real mainstay in the UK parkour scene for a very long time. So thanks for coming on.
No, mate, thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
And we'll start how we usually start, which is how did you get started in parkour? Because you've been in the game for a while now.
Yeah, man, I started in 2010, and it was actually all because of the game Mirror's Edge. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. Entirely Mirror's Edge, basically. So yeah, started playing that game in like 2009, something like that, and was just so like inspired by the movement in the game and stuff like that. So just like, you know, sort of 14, 15-year-old me just went straight up on roofs and started like looking at little gaps I can do, not knowing that parkour existed at all. Like I had no idea it had a name or anything like that. And like just started posting like a few videos of me doing like roof gaps on like local schools to me and
Just
stuff
on
like
your
that.
own?
Just on my own, yeah,
Oh, sick.
completely on my own. And
In
then
Derby.
in Derby, yeah, that is, yeah. And then a few people in my school sort of caught on to the fact I was like posting clips of me jumping, and it turns out they all did parkour and sort of
straight.
brought me into their group after that. Yeah.
Oh, sick. So you just
Yeah.
started on your ones, had local people,
Yeah.
and they brought you in.
That's
Also,
it.
I think Mirror's Edge worked with David Bell.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think I remember seeing that. I'm not certain. I know that Dying Light did, which is a later game, but I think they did work with some actual parkour people to make that because it was a very kind of parkour focused game. I remember playing that game as well.
Oh, mate, it's so good.
Yeah,
Like one of the best games to come out, and it was 2008 it came out as well. Like it's so old now.
Yeah.
And it's just to this day, like I still play it now, like every now and then, just to like, you know, relive my youth a little bit. But yeah, it's cool, man. That's fully just what sort of inspired me to start moving like that, and then just went from there, really.
Okay, so this group, so you joined this group, and then before the podcast, you told me something I didn't know, which is that you didn't actually start Street Media.
Yeah, that's true.
So what was the story from then on with this group?
So really, it was there was 2 or 3 guys in my school at the time that sort of caught on to the fact I was doing roof gaps and stuff like that. And Street Media didn't exist at that point, and I was just sort of training with my local guys that were in my school. And then it turns out there was a bigger community in Derby, so like started meeting up with some of the other guys. And then turns out there was a few, like 2 guys that were in this group called Street Media, and I sort of, you know, training with them more, getting involved with them a bit more, and then the group that was Street Media started like growing a little bit. So I got brought in. We got Joe O'Brien in there, who's one of the guys from my school, like old school Street Media guy. And then we've got like people like Matt Hart and Sam Petts. Do you remember Sam Petts?
I do remember Sam Pettis. So a lot of these people were in your school while you were there.
So Joe O'Brien was the only one in my school, to be honest. Okay. And then so Matt Hart and George Bedell, those 2 guys were the ones that originally started Street Media. And then they brought me in, Joe in, and then Sam Petts, James Parrish, James Holbrook as well. And then that's the group as it stood for years from there, basically.
I always find it so astonishing when people just like happen to go to the same school with people that they start parkour with or meet, because it's such a niche thing.
Yeah.
That when you have that, I think like a lot of the 5th unit guys are just like a group of lads schoolmates.
Yeah.
But somehow they all found the same passion or stuck with it. I find that just so random, but yeah, that's awesome. So Street Media then, I guess how did it begin? Because also as a side note, I find it to be like one of, if not the best named teams or sort of like parkour organizations there is. I always thought it was just a sick name. Yeah,
it's one of those. It's like
sounds like a proper streetwear brand.
Yeah. I mean, it's always been that name since like even probably when it originally started. So just before my time in like 2009 sort of time. And the name's just stuck.
Yeah.
And in my mind, it's still one of those like 14-year-old like cool, like trying to have a cool parkour team name straight away. But then over time, it's just sort of like stuck, and now it is what it is. It's sort of cemented. So we're not going to be changing it anytime soon.
No, yeah, I thought it was really good because those 14-year-old names often fall really flat.
Yeah.
So I thought it was strong. So I guess who founded it? Because when you say Street Media, I assume it was built around video projects.
Yes, yeah. So initially, the full team, as I say, was me, Joe O'Brien, Matt Hart, George Bedell, James Parrish, Sam Petts, and James Holbrook as well. So there was 7 or 8 of us. And we also had, for a short period of time, a guy called Max Ainley, who was from Huddersfield. Mm-hmm. So slight connection with him, and he was involved for a couple of years, but then he sort of dropped off a bit. So yeah, the group was that sort of 7 or 8 of us, and then we all came together and just started making little videos around Derby and Nottingham as well, because Nottingham's just down the road from Derby, really. And yeah, just kept making little videos, meeting up every weekend as you do, and just kept pushing it that way. And the videos, like, obviously were just like crap back in the day. You know, they're
Of
just sort of
course, yeah.
like 3-4 minute type things, and just kids messing around at local spots. And then eventually, started trying to take the videos a little bit more seriously and push for a little bit longer content. And here we are now. I'm not making that many videos anymore.
Yeah, well, true. The focus has shifted, but that is how you get good at making videos, is starting from that early age. Because when you've got that focus on, like, you're not only improving your movement, which will happen standard, but you're improving your filmmaking. But sometimes people now get to a really high level and they drop a video. But I watched a couple recently, and it's a bit anticlimactic, not because the movement isn't incredible, but because they don't have any real filmmaking like skill, because they haven't developed that over years.
Right, no,
Which
yeah,
there's
I
no
see that.
expectation that they would have that, right? But it falls just a little bit flatter than something that's really shot really nicely.
I think we were absolutely blessed to have Joe O'Brien specifically involved with our group, because he always had a focus on filmmaking, and
Yeah.
and to this day he's a freelance filmmaker, does shoot some really good content. And we were definitely blessed to have him involved with the group, because he definitely sort of mostly ran all the sort of YouTube content and the filming and stuff like that. I mean, it was across a little bit of the group as well, but I didn't have much of a hand in the videos back in the day. It was definitely more sort of the other guys, and they pushed that a lot. And my focus was mainly on the clothing, really,
Yeah.
and just training and getting out, basically.
Well, yeah, I mean, the clothing's obviously where you've completely shone, but that is an interesting point about having that. That's often the way, right? You have that one really dedicated filmmaker, and everyone kind of is doing their thing, but someone's really focused on it. And then you have so many famous examples of that person going on to become a successful, like, freelance filmmaker, and they were right. Like Claudio Voicu with Storm.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I don't know his name, but the filmmaker from Team Gestian is like really successful now. He was.
That's a name I heard in a
But
while.
their projects were amazing,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
And then
yeah.
obviously Hector Pitt from Brewman.
Yes,
You know, he's
yeah,
one of
yeah.
the top music video directors for, like, drill music videos in the
Yeah,
country.
he's killing it now.
He's
Yeah.
absolutely killing it. So there's a lot of that, and that's what I do for a living as well. I'm a
Yeah,
freelance
true,
filmmaker.
true.
So it's like there's this really strong transition that happens there, and especially back then. Maybe even slightly less so now, which is a bit of a negative thing to say, but I feel like the standard was so high for video projects. So you're already part of this community where the filmmaking standards set, like, the bar set really high. And if you compare that to the bar of, like, early level, like, film students or something, it's way above it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
because you're in that filmmaking community with such a high standard, like, it really propelled people into these creative careers, which is sick. But then, yeah, talk to me about the clothing, because that's when you've really shone, and I've been so impressed by your innovative clothing throughout the years. So how did that begin? When did you start with the clothing side of things?
So I think it was 2014, which was just before we went on our big sort of interrailing trip, when I was 18 and the other guys were sort of 19.
Sick.
That we printed our first T-shirt, it was a really nice print, to be fair. We worked with a local artist in Derby, a local tattoo artist, who sort of sorted the design for us, and we sourced the tees and sorted the prints out and everything like that. And it was the panda T-shirt. It was like a big white
Yes.
T-shirt, just a huge panda face on it with, like, all sorts going on. And so it started from there, really. And then I wasn't that involved with that first print, but once I saw, like, how those turned out and the success of it, it got me really motivated to, like, properly get into designing clothes and stuff like that. And it definitely helps that my mum is a fashion designer.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, little
So-
nepo baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So she taught me a lot that I need to know in terms of, like, graphic design and working in
Wow.
Illustrator and stuff like that. So definitely blessed to have my mum involved. My mum's to this day is still quite involved with street media. Like, she'll show me things I didn't know how to do on Illustrator, and she'll even do some sewing bits for us to this day and stuff like that.
Amazing.
So yeah, from sort of 2014, once those first shirts released.
So that first shirt was that panda design.
That was it. Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Like, I think that's fantastic, because one of my biggest gripes with sort of parkour clothing generally is people, like, launch a team and then they just launch a t-shirt and it's purely just like their team's name on the t-shirt.
Yeah.
And there's nothing inherently wrong with that, because you want to rep your team and you want people around you to support it. But because it's new and you haven't sort of put any value in what that name means beyond you and a couple of your friends, right?
Doesn't mean much, does it?
Yeah,
really?
it doesn't, like, incentivize people to want to support it. So a couple of years down the line, or if you drop a massive video project and then like the capstone, for example, right?
Yeah.
Immediately that gave the capstone name value,
Yeah,
right?
gave it the weight.
So, but until you've put value into that, there's another way you can provide value, which is by just having a really cool design.
Yeah,
And when
yeah.
I want to buy a piece of parkour clothing, like, I'm if I think it's a cool piece of clothing, I'm just gonna buy it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's sick and it's something unique and something different. So I feel like I don't know anything about clothing design, but that would be my personal opinion, my top tip. If you're dropping like a first item, drop one thing that's just really cool.
Yeah, make it special.
Make
for
it
sure.
special, and it's not cool just because it's your thing, but like just a different design. I mean, even Josh Dowie launched a T-shirt years ago, and it just said like it was just a couple of like funny kind of silhouette photos, and it was
I
like
remember that.
kung fu on it.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
it was
yeah.
kind of groovy, and people got behind it.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
think he did a decent number of sales. Same with Barry. He launched like one shirt, and it was
Yes.
the definition of patella tendonitis on it. You
Yeah,
know,
I
and people
remember
just
that.
like they're not like, oh, I'm supporting this because it's Barry He. That might be a bonus, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But,
yeah.
or his brand like PKDJ, which was like the brand doesn't really have value yet because he hasn't provided loads beyond like a bit of the meme page stuff.
Mhm,
But the T-shirt's great, so I'm gonna get it from the value on the product.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and the
yeah.
others is a bonus. I just feel like that's a really strong way to have like started off.
100%.
And then
yeah.
where did the clothing go from there?
So from there, really, after we came back from our interrailing trip, which I'm sure we'll get into
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
for sure.
Yeah, the clothing. We then released the Paisley T-shirt, which is the one that I think people remember the most because it was the first T-shirt that sort of included our logo, but it was like just a huge sort of
Is
paisley
that like
print design.
the prison like stripes?
No, so that
No,
came after.
That
So
came after.
That,
Okay,
so
that was
then-
iconic. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so not long after we did those Paisley T-shirts came that T-shirt, which we call like the original striped T-shirt.
Sure.
And that was, I think, the drop that really sort of solidified us as a brand making, unique things.
I
more
still
than
think of
just
that
prints.
one when I think of street media. Like
Yeah.
that's a really iconic piece. Yeah.
I still remember the one of the first sort of international orders that we ever sent out was to Japan, and I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the guy right now, but he was quite big back in the day in Japan. And I just remember sending that out and thinking, okay, sick, we're going somewhere now because this is going halfway across the world. So someone halfway across the world wants this T-shirt now. So it's like,
And the
cool feeling.
Japanese are very cool.
Yeah.
They have incredibly good style.
I think that's what made it a little bit
Yeah.
more real for me as well.
Like, they
'cause it's
probably
like,
have the best style on average for
Yeah.
a whole like country,
Yeah,
let's say, like
I would say.
community.
I would say.
Yeah, sick.
But then, yeah, I mean, from there, once that sort of T-shirt released, sales started going quite well, and then it was just more motivation to just keep designing, and yeah, we did all sorts after that, like the long sleeve striped shirt, we did our first cargo joggers as well, and then yeah, just all sorts from there. And I think that really kick-started the sort of motivation to take the designs and stuff a bit more seriously. So
Yeah, so I guess how did you keep the emphasis on always having something unique and a bit different? Because when I see the street media clothing, you've got very little like stock standard t-shirts and
Yeah.
pants and that kind of thing. Like you from balaclavas to bags to like really kind of retro sort of pants. Like everything's quite different and stands out. And you're almost operating in a space where no one else is sometimes because instead of competing for like who's got the best black shirt, right? Which you do obviously have some of those, and it's good to have those staple pieces. But instead of being like in this competition where people might buy one or two a year and you're fighting for them, like no one's got this groovy long sleeve, or everyone might need a bag, or so you're hitting these different markets. So I guess where does the motivation come from to keep things always a bit different? Because it must be much harder to design those clothing.
Well, yeah, no, yeah, you're definitely right there. I think the fact that we've got now quite a broad team and they're sort of all over the place, not just strictly in the UK, but everyone's coming from all over, different corners of the world and has different sort of styles and tastes. When it comes to making a new design, we're quite picky.
Yeah.
Quite picky because we need to please all of us in the group chat, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so everyone's got these sort of different tastes.
And everyone's quite groovy and stylish, I think,
Well, yeah,
in
I think
your
that
current
helps.
roster, right?
I think that definitely helps for sure. So yeah, just having the people there to sort of give opinions, because it's mainly me doing all the sort of designing, and then I sort of fire stuff off to everyone and get sort of
But
feedback.
that feedback's so important. Right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think that feedback is what keeps it unique, basically, because we want to avoid just doing like a simple, I mean, we have got a simple embroidery logo tee, but
It's
like,
good to have one.
yeah,
Don't get me wrong.
just the one, and then
get me
everything else. Yeah, we're trying to just keep as fresh as possible, basically, with feeding everyone's different tastes in the group.
So that's part of the key then is people like pushing to, you're having that environment where like you're pushing to have something different, something innovative, something
Yeah.
people really are excited to wear, not just because it's street media. And because you've been around long enough and you've done a lot of things, there is definitely more than enough meaning in the name now for people to want to just rep a simple street media tee. But yeah, to go beyond that and to do that. About I don't really know anything about clothing, so I guess talk to me about the technical side of designing quite unique products as well, like I don't know, like the bag or the balaclava, or even, you know, these pants. Like these are street media, right?
No,
It seems to be all a lot different to your stock standard kind of t-shirt designs and so on.
well, one thing I will say is that we definitely waste a lot of money sampling
Yeah,
until we get stuff
I
right.
guess that's the game though, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. We definitely lose a fair bit of money just sorting the samples, as well as because we work with factories from abroad and getting them shipped over, especially post Brexit. You know, all these import taxes and stuff like that. But yeah, like yeah, once we are like sort of once we have an idea of the direction we want to go in, we will just sort of come together as a group and figure out the design, and then from there I will talk to factories, see what's possible with the factories that we're working with, and then I'll basically make a load of different designs in Illustrator. Anything from just simple prints to embroideries and adding pockets on these joggers, for example. And then just talk to the factories and just see what they can do that's in a reasonable sort of price range for us, because we're not a massive brand, we haven't got loads of money. We have to work in sort of small batches.
Of course, yeah.
Sort of like either 50 or 100 or maximum sort of 200 units at a time. And that is it's good because it means we can change the designs up quite often, but it does increase the cost of things quite a lot.
Of course, yeah.
So having to sort of adapt to that, and then just trying to sample as little as possible and have it perfect the first few times, I think is key to sort of us keeping the designs fresh. And
are there any major lessons and any learning curves you've had over the years? Like, I guess your relationships with the factories and understanding what they can deliver must have improved.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think like when we first started out, because when we did our first t-shirts, it was all sort of like, just like Gildan t-shirts, and then just printing in local shops and stuff like that. So moving from that sort of side of like basic designing into working with factories and going for like higher quality finishes and stuff like that, it took some time adapting to, for sure, and definitely cost some money with the sampling, as I say. So just sticking with it and sort of trying to figure out what factories are good and want to work with small brands and stuff like that, and are sort of motivated by that, and avoiding the bigger companies that don't really care about. They're just trying to fulfill an order, you know what I mean,
Sure.
rather than taking any care in your brand. So over the years, we've definitely had built up some really good relationships with our factories, and it's still benefiting us to this day.
Are there any regions specifically that work better for that? Like any countries where you have more people, like factories that are more motivated to work with smaller brands, or
It's hard, really. I mean, it's
a case by case?
case by
Sure,
case, I'd
sure.
say, yeah. So like we've worked with some factories in Portugal that have been really good,
Yeah.
but we've also worked with a factory in Portugal that were really, really bad as well.
Right. Yeah.
We do have sort of 2 or 3 factories that we work with in China, and they're pretty good. The quality is really, really good, to be fair. It's just always a bit of an issue communicating with time differences and language restraints and stuff like that.
Do you ever go out there to meet
where?
them? Did you ever go out?
Oh,
to
no, not yet. I'd love to, though. We've been invited. We've been invited, but
because Klaus has done that with like he's doing some other sorts of business, but like he's gone out of China and just met with these colleagues a few
that's
times
sick.
now. I
That's
think
sick.
there's visa-free travel now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, no, I did hear that, actually.
Yeah.
That's a recent change, isn't it? I mean,
It was like
seeing
100 quid for the visa before, so
Oh, really?
It's not a
Getting
bad
up there.
idea. Go meet with them, man.
Yeah, maybe I should. We get invited to. We've been invited to the factory before. We've been invited to like what do you call them? Like kind of conferences out in China before, like a business conference, and like it's cool, but I don't want to spend 500 quid coming out there.
Understandable,
know.
totally understandable. But yeah, no, that'd be funny.
It's cool.
Street
seeing,
media trip to China would be get all the gang.
It's overdue. We've never done any countries in Asia in the entire time that Street Media's existed. Never done it. So I've been to America to train once. That was kind of a family trip, but it's all just covered all of Europe and not really touched Asia at all. I've never been to Asia myself ever.
Wow. Well, for me, it's like by far my favorite region to travel.
Yeah, I hear
Southeast
that so
Asia.
often,
Obviously, like I'm from Australia, but like got family in Europe and live in the UK, so it's right in the middle.
Yeah.
So it makes geographical sense for me to have spent time there. But yeah, it's number one. But yeah, while we're still on clothing, so then I guess where are you at with it now? What are you releasing now, and so on? Yeah.
So yeah, we've got a few bits in the pipeline. So we've got this. unreleased,
Concrete crush.
dropping potentially in the next couple of days. So maybe by the time this is out, it should be available. Ready to
Okay,
purchase.
okay.
So yeah, we got this T-shirt, got me cargos.
Yeah, these are very cool.
Yeah, we're gonna call them the Stargos.
Yeah, so how difficult is it to get like, because this you know, some people might be listening, but this is quite like thick embroidery on
Yeah.
the star. So is that a hard thing to do? Also the SM logo there.
Yeah.
Like, is that difficult to get that really like high quality embroidery?
So I mean, this is an example of a factory that we've been working with for a while. So we know that they take care of us, and we sort of know the quality of their work. And I mean, this is just a bit of a 3D embroidery over just your standard embroidery, and we've had it from them before, so we know they're really, really capable.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it definitely gives me a lot of confidence in producing these slightly different things, knowing that we've had previously really good.
And how
work
much
done.
sampling for that product specifically, let's say, for those pants did you have to go through?
So probably, I mean, I think these are the second pair of these that we got, and they weren't cheap either, because just to get one sample pre-made with like the embroidery plate made for like the initial designs for these embroideries, and then the actual cost of preparing the cargos themselves plus shipping over.
Because you're paying the labor costs of like the designing and stuff, like someone to spend time on it as well.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not cheap in the end. I think it came to well over 100 quid just for one pair.
Yeah.
Basically, just to get that sample done, and then but now we know they're good to go. So yeah, I've got all sorts coming, man.
So this one, like the initial sample was good because you had that relationship. Already?
Yes, yeah, 100%.
Fantastic,
Which
yeah.
I think is like such an important thing for anyone to do if they're getting into the sort of parkour clothing world, or just any kind of clothing design world in general, to be honest, is just, you know, figure out who you want to work with, what factories you want to work with, and really sort of nail down the quality that you want from them.
Yeah.
And from there, as long as you keep a good relationship with them, in our experience, it really works out long term. So
Sick.
yeah,
That's awesome. No, yeah, it's good to see. Like, I think from my perspective, you've been like consistently like the top innovator in parkour clothing because everything's always so different. You got the bag, the balaclavas, the towel. Like, like everything feels like a different purpose. And the other one I've been impressed with recently, who has a lot less products, and I think if you're trying to really innovate, that might be a good way to do it. Is drop something only occasionally. Is GFAM. I don't know if they do it in Berlin. I feel like they might actually have a factory in Berlin. I'm not sure, but yeah, when they drop a product, I feel like there's loads of thought that goes into it.
Yeah.
And like 100%. You need to be so cool to exist in Berlin. I think.
Yeah.
You know, and like they really, they want like a statement piece. And,
yeah. I honestly love. I think GFAM is one of the top brands that are really doing well for themselves in terms of like keeping it unique and really having a unique
quality
brand there. Yeah. Like everything they do is so cool, man. Really.
I think my favorite current piece of parkour clothing that I got from there, and it's like their sweater, and it's like quite heavy and like thick, this black like sweater, like
and it's like embossed, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
so there's like an embossed like GFAM on it, but you can't even. It's not like super out there.
Yeah.
So the actual design, it's like it's almost like a Christmas sweater material, but it's like a bit heavier, and it's like a long sleeve and like dark gray. And then if you look closely, you're like, oh, like the actual pattern says GFAM.
Yeah.
But it's just really good quality and like super warm and one of the only cooler pieces of clothing I own. It costs like €100, but like had no issue paying that because the quality was there.
Yeah, 100%. That's a reasonable price for something like that, I'd say, for sure. That's really. I don't even own that. I really wanted to though. Just didn't have the money at the time.
Yeah,
but that's as a design. Just as using that as an example, I think that is one of the best sort of examples of design in any clothing, not just parkour clothing, that works really well because it's subtle, but the quality is like unmatched, and like what you can feel the quality when you wear something like that, and then just having like a cool sort of all over sort of design like that just adds to it so much, man.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, it kind of sucks to do parkour in. Like that's not really what it's for.
No, right? yeah.
But like it's just a fantastic piece of clothing, like, and you can wear it in like an event or a concert or something. Yeah. And they've had like musicians on stage wear their stuff. And so and that's kind of where we want to go, right? Obviously they're still really small. I think they're probably even smaller than you are, but you want to be able to grow in terms of not just like fitness, sport, functional clothing, which maybe Stora, now they've got Stora Sport and moving more in that area, right? But you want to also have cool like streetwear and move into the more of the skateboarding realm, right? Like, I guess what would be sort of the eventual goal with the clothing? Because it's a side hustle for you for a long time,
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yeah.
Where would you like to see it go to, I guess?
It's interesting because I didn't even bring this point up with you yet, but my sort of long-term goal is to open a clothing store eventually.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, and
Yeah,
it would not at all in any sense be necessarily restricted to the parkour community.
But it couldn't be.
No,
How
yeah,
you gonna make any money?
exactly. Yeah, it couldn't
There's no
financially
way.
exist that
Yeah,
way,
yeah,
for sure.
100%.
So,
I think, what's his name? Jack. His name's Garm Goblin on Instagram.
oh yes,
Who was in Brooman and then he does all the groovy denim stuff. I think he opened a little store.
Yeah.
some
I haven't
point.
heard about that, but I really like. I can't remember his second name for the life of me right now. Jack.
I do know it, but I did
my
3
phone.
podcasts yesterday, so
Your
my brain's a bit
Brain's
fuzzled.
burnt out now. Yeah.
But yeah,
no,
he
old
kills it.
Broom and Jack. He's
Old
sick,
Broom and
man.
Jack, yeah, for sure. What? So would that be a little like shop in Derby or something? Or?
So I'd hope to open it up in Sheffield because
yeah, that'd be much cooler.
yeah. So I'm in Derby now. I'm soon to be in Bristol for a couple of years.
Okay.
And then I will be moving back to Sheffield, and yeah, the plan would be to open that shop up in Sheffield, and I'd really want it to be something where it's sort of focused on city sports, outdoor sort of city sports. So parkour, skate, BMX, all of that type of stuff.
So
And
streetwear, but with that focus on urban sports.
exactly, yeah. And that, and also just general fitness clothing as well for gym goers, etc. I'd want a big focus of it to be on footwear, to be honest.
Ooh,
I
that's
think-
a whole nother kettle of fish.
Yeah,
You haven't
yeah,
even
yeah.
really dipped your toe in yet.
No,
right?
yeah.
Wow.
So we ourselves have never even considered making a shoe, just because it's insane amounts of money to get it started and sampled. Like, big up to Stora for releasing the 10s, because I love that shoe. I'm not even gonna lie. I love that shoe. It's really good everywhere apart from in Nova City.
Yeah.
That's one thing I noticed.
I think it's a very cool shoe, a very sturdy shoe. My gripe with it is how heavy it is. I find it a bit too heavy. I haven't worn
do
it
hear that.
personally, but I trim with Fletch, who bought a pair and who loved the design, but he was hitting some pliers, right?
Yeah.
And I was filming him and he bounced them 3 times in a row. He swapped into the Olos and like overshot it in one attempt. So purely from like an athletic, like generating power perspective, that's my only gripe with it. But
Yeah.
otherwise, it's like a perfect shoe. I think.
Yeah. I've seen Strike have released a new shoe as well.
Strike Movement, yeah. So Strike Movement obviously is like a hybrid brand.
Yes.
So they're like do gym and cross training and parkour.
Yeah.
And so they're a bit all round. Yeah, I got a pair of Strikes, but mine were a little bit oversized, so I just ended up using them for lifting, not parkour.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
And I found them a bit on the heavier side, but they are also a very strong shoe, and the grip is incredible.
I just see Ed Scott bigging them up, so I'm thinking,
Yeah,
if it works for a mate.
And they obviously Daryl Stingley has
Oh, yeah.
designed a shoe with them.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And I think particularly for what he does, which is a lot of gym training, it's like fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's like, if your only issue with the Stars is Nova City, have your Strikes for Nova City.
That's it, yeah,
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure
yeah.
on like the wood, they're incredible.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Yeah, so yeah.
Although there are sometimes custom charges when you get them shipped over.
they're coming from America, aren't they? North America, yeah.
So that's an issue. Yeah.
But in terms of just going on with the footwear stuff, like and the clothing store idea in general, like I would want to stock parkour brands, I'd want to stock skate brands, I'd want to stock just normal like Nike and Reebok and just normal brands.
So you'd
as
have
well.
like some of your stuff.
Yeah.
But it's also just like the streetwear brands.
Yeah. So there'd be like in my mind, there'd be like a corner with like a few Street Media bits, and then like a full sort of parkour clothing brand area, and then you'd have a whole skate area. And and like a whole footwear bit. Like my mind when I'm thinking of this idea for the future is based around footwear mainly. Cause,
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, because I think when it comes to parkour especially, there are 2 clothing items that matter the most, and it's shoes and trousers, pants. That's it.
Yeah.
I think any shirt is fine realistically, but the only 2 things that sort of affect your movement drastically are shoes and are joggers. So I'd really want to get a lot of really good trainers, good joggers and stuff like that in just multidiscipline sports.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's why I train in shorts. Like, obviously I train in my purple shorts, but they were long pants and I cut them.
Yeah.
Because it just annoyed me.
Yeah.
Like especially in obviously hotter countries. It depends. Like,
Just on the purple pants, or the purple shorts. I was going through my post from like 2022, you know, on the Greece trip that we did.
Yeah,
And there's that shot of us all walking down some street in Greece, and there you are in your big purple shorts, mate. It's beautiful.
no,
Classic
it's
stuff.
good fun. Like, that's actually probably my best story, you know, without going on too big of a tangent from those, was I'd worn them for years already, but the first time I met you
Oh yeah.
in Matera,
Oh yeah.
you were with a couple of your boys,
2019. Yeah.
and then one of them, like Adam Dyer, I think
Yeah, Adam Dyer,
was
yeah.
like, oh, it's purple shorts, and knew me from the shorts and not knew who I was, and then I was like, right, these are here to stay,
Yeah,
because
that's
I
it.
built like a brand for
That's
myself.
my
you know?
brand now. The purple
Yeah,
shorts.
which
mate.
I guess, you know, is and they were really, I really got bullied for years for them, you know, but I've moved past that point, to the point where even like Joe Scandrett doesn't bully me for them anymore, because they're so ingrained in who I am
Mate,
for more than
that's
10
it.
years.
That's it.
So basically, if you want your own unique style, and you want to, if you're prepared to suffer a decade of bullying, if you move past that, then you're like,
You become the
can
top G then.
cement it.
That's
Like,
yeah, you're the
like,
top purple shorts G.
yeah,
That's
like,
it.
you know, Titarenko with his blue shorts, or,
Oh
or
yeah, yeah, that's true.
the guy who always wears orange from Czech Republic.
yeah.
Yeah, but I
And
mean,
what about as well? Just that one guy who always wears red in Japan. He's full red. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah,
innit?
I mean, he's been cool from day one. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's got like the spike on
the
his head.
spike, the red
That's
spike.
crazy.
Love to see it.
But yeah, that'd be unreal. Do you have any realistic plans to put that in place, or is it like a few years down the line in terms of a store?
So I'm thinking, but one of the main reasons I'm going to Bristol is to sort of network with other creatives and stuff like that, and sort of build up a bit of a
That's the place to do it.
Yeah. You know, I mean, Sheffield's great. Like, I love Sheffield, but Bristol has got a lot more of a creative scene, I think, than Sheffield, at least now, anyway.
Yeah.
So while I'm in Bristol, I'm going to spend some time just sort of networking with other creatives, seeing potentially where I can source some clothing from, and just get started that way. Like, my idea would be to start online. Start an online store like that, build up a bit of a rep online, and then if it's all going well, push for the physical store.
Online customers. I feel like also on the point of Jack with his, like, he was doing these incredible custom jeans.
Yeah.
Basically, he built his customer base is doing like really cool stuff on social media, and then just sending free ones to a couple of key influencers, predominantly in the US, right?
Yes.
If you want to find an audience that will buy things, Americans buy things.
Yeah.
They love to buy
They love
things.
it. Yeah.
They will, and anything that's different or cool. So like, actually with tariffs, it's probably like way harder now, come to think of it. But the majority of his audience was in the US. And he got it through influencers. You could do the same thing here, but it's obviously they just are really more keen to spend money.
I really love Jack's stuff, man. Like, I've been following his stuff for years and years. There was even talks of because what was it? It was Rough Cut. That was the brand.
Rough Cut, that's the brand.
At one point,
I think to this day.
Is it still Rough
I
Cut
think
then?
to this day,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, way back. I mean, I'm talking maybe about 6 or 7 years ago. We were even in talks with him of doing a little collaboration, something like that. And we've had loads of talks with potential collaborations with people over the years, and some of them have worked, and some of them have fallen through, to be fair, and that's one of them that unfortunately fell through. But I'd love to get involved with him on something again.
But I guess in terms of building that online audience, moving outside of parkour, having some really strong, unique pieces of clothing that you send to a couple of the right people in exchange for a bit of promotion, maybe that'd be a way to.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, for anyone that is running a brand like that, like, I think that, I mean, we've done that loads over the years. Just send free bits out to people that, like, we used to just give Joe Scandra everything.
Yeah.
We used to give him everything.
100%, which is, you know, like a great way to do it within parkour, but then even moving beyond that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is obviously the way that people get their stuff out there, is get in front of the right people.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, big ups Joe, because he's been, I believe, sort of making a living off his clothing sponsor for a while now.
Yes, yeah.
Which is boohoo, man.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, still pushing it, still killing it. Big up Joe, man.
Yeah, big up Joe. the winner of the no, he's back behind Dom now. He's second place again in the most views, I think, right? On Instagram.
On Instagram, yeah, they're battling, aren't they?
They're battling. So for a while he was number 1. Now he's number 2, but he definitely has the best style for viral parkour. Where people watch his stuff, and this is kind of an issue with the sport, but the stuff that performs best is when you think it's a crazy person doing something and not someone doing parkour. Like, it's a crazy shirtless guy jumping over a car park to a pole, not a professional athlete with 15 years experience. It's both.
They don't see that though.
You know, it's clearly both, but yeah. But no, I really hope that works for you. And I got really excited about the clothing stuff, because I think that was a really key thing that I wanted to hit with you, and I hope people kind of learn from that, who are looking to do this kind of thing in future. But we jumped the gun a bit. I wanted to go back and talk a bit about the early days again,
Hmm.
of the parkour stuff. So like when you start off, where do you feel like, I guess, the strongest community was in the UK, and where do you feel like it is now? Because you were going down to London, you
Yeah.
had your strong community there, and then yeah, talk to me about the early days of your parkour experience.
So it used to be definitely like Derby and Nottingham had really, really big scenes. For many reasons, really. Nottingham had its own sort of community, and Derby was us guys plus Tim Sheaf
Mm.
because
Yeah,
he
where is he from
so
specifically?
he's from Derby.
He's from
He's from
Derby.
Derby. So when
Derby
we were
boy.
coming up, I mean, I should have mentioned this.
Would
To be
have thought
fair.
he was from London for some reason.
No, no,
Because
no.
he was
So
there.
he was Derby born and raised, man, and then he ended up moving down to London and then to Bristol for a bit, and he's back in Derby now. I think he's in Burton, which is
Yeah.
close enough to Derby.
For anyone who doesn't know who Tim Sheaf is, he's probably the UK athlete that achieved the most, like, maybe aside from Star, but I don't know, even with Star, the most like mainstream fame, let's say. Like he
Yeah,
was
for
huge. He
sure.
was one of the biggest vegan influencers in the world at one point. He dated Ellie Goulding for a while, which
Yeah,
is crazy.
little fact there. That's true.
He was
that is
on
true.
Britain's Got Talent. He was all over the place in that early like 2010s golden era of parkour time. Right? He
Yeah,
was like the figurehead almost of the sport.
that's it. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Derby boy.
to have that being so low, like as well as I mentioned, like I didn't know what parkour was when I first started doing jumps on roofs, and then found out that there's this group, and then found out there's a guy who's actually the world champion at the time
Yeah,
of parkour who lived in my city, and I just like
does a lot for you, doesn't
it
it?
blew my mind. I was like, oh wow, okay, that not only does this exist, but it's like big. There's competitions, and like this guy's got all this attention from winning the Barclays
The
World
Barclay card.
Champion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Barclay card
Barclay
on
card, yeah.
South Bank, one of the to this day biggest events ever run.
Yeah.
But I mean, what does that do for your confidence to have someone from where you're from? Because I can just imagine they've got an incredible gym there. All these kids in Sweden, where Ellis is from,
Oh yeah,
growing
yeah.
up, he's seeing him world champion, training with him. Like, I guess what does that do for you getting into the sport? You're like, okay, this is a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as I say, it completely sort of like blew my mind. Like, didn't know it existed on this sort of scale. And one of the original guys in Street Media, Joe O'Brien, that I mentioned, he went to South Bank to go watch that competition go down,
Okay.
and that was just before I started training. So once I'd sort of started linking up with Joe O'Brien a bit more, he showed me all these clips from this crazy competition that had just happened in London, and I was like, oh my god, okay, this is real.
It
Like,
changes your perspective of what it is, right? Because it's
yeah,
not this tiny niche thing which you might have experienced if you were living somewhere else,
yeah.
but now it's real. It's in front of you, and
Yeah.
like there are people doing it in a big way, right?
And then I'm coming out on a Saturday to train, and like this guy's just there. Tim Sheaf is just out training with us, and it's like, yeah, cool, it's so cool, man. And to see him moving in his classic sort of powerful like handstandy way and all that stuff back in the day was just like, again, blew my mind, because it's like that itself was like a type of movement I didn't even consider being a thing. Just so upper body strong and stuff like that. And yeah, just seeing different ways of moving from there was really cool. But Tim, like, yeah, it was really cool to sort of come up and train with Tim back in the day, and then over time he sort of went to London and started doing his own thing, so we saw him less and less and less. But yeah, it was super cool, man, super cool.
But so you guys were also going to London a lot. Like, I feel like back then the UK community was quite connected, right?
Yes,
People do a lot of trips and stuff. So what was that like, coming down, training with the Run London guys? Was that like
Yeah.
a regular thing?
It became quite a regular thing at first. Like, couldn't even tell you where we met them first. It might have just been at events and stuff like that. But over time, like, we ended up, all the original Street Media guys started going down to London quite often, coming to meet up with like Alfie, Jaden,
Yeah.
Jake Bramford, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all
the
types of
Run
people.
London OGs.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And yeah, they were just so good to train with, and obviously Jaden and Alfie back then were just still like killing it completely. So seeing them moving in these like crazy London spots, and at the time as well, like all these London spots, us from being sort of in the Midlands, completely like blew our minds again. Like just because it had such an air of mysticism around these spots, like IMAX and all this stuff, and Vauxhall back in the day, and to go down, like start going down, like every sort of 2 or 3 weeks, and meeting up with people and seeing those spots and getting to train on those spots was just like a dream come true at the time.
Do you feel like that helped with your progression as well, like skill level wise, right? To see the spots, to see the level that their man were on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, because Derby like is a small place, really, like a really small city. I think I looked at it and it's like half the size of Camden or something like that. Just the entire city of Derby is. And
I
that,
mean, London is huge. London's 4 times bigger than the next biggest city in Europe.
Yeah.
Like, it's massive. People don't
crazy.
realize how big London is. Right?
Yeah. So then, when we, as you say, like coming down and seeing like the actual gaps at IMAX, and because seeing them on video is one thing, when people do things, they make it look easy often, and then it's not until you're there at the physical spot where you're like, okay, this is actually a serious challenge now for me, So yeah, definitely like coming down to London, like absolutely motivated us to train harder and to sort of match the guys in the south, a little bit.
Yeah.
They're all just killing it down there and in these crazy iconic spots, and we're just at like the 1 or 2 spots in Derby doing our thing, So
But that's sick, because then you're like, this is the level, and these guys are so good. But then you're like, okay, actually, like, I'm not too far off that. It kind of you pull yourself up a bit.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I remember, I think the biggest eye opener I had was traveling, obviously from Australia, and then to For the Love of Movement, and
Yes.
and when I turned up, first thing I saw, like the day before the event, I was there volunteering. I was staying in the gym with the volunteers and with the Modus kids at the time. So Keelan, Max, and Luke.
Okay.
And they were like,
I bet they were babies at the time.
yeah, they were babies. They were just going through puberty,
Yeah.
and they were like, I don't know, 14, 15, maybe 15 or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that. And
yeah.
they were 2-3 years younger than me, maybe 3 years younger than me.
Keelan had his hair.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I didn't know, and they were these scrawny kids, and they were jumping, like they were doing running jumps like further than I thought would have been physically possible for them.
Yeah.
Seriously, like, and it blew my mind, and it really put in perspective like what was possible.
Yeah.
Because obviously they were technically and mentally so strong, but yeah, I didn't realize like that was even achievable. So that is, I think, when my mentality shifted a bit, and the bar raises in your head, and you slowly build up to that. I was like, well, if they're at this level, it's like, surely like this jump that's a foot back it just goes.
Yeah.
And it does. And so, yeah, I guess segueing onto like parkour travel, which I think is sort of the best way to progress as an athlete, also,
100%.
Get recognition, meet people, have great experiences. Like, from those early days of just traveling around the UK, when was the next like big trip? Like, was that interrailing, surely?
It was interrailing.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
for sure.
tell me about that, because you've never really told me about this before, so I'm quite curious. to hear.
Yeah. So, I mean, this was in 2014, so maybe 2 years before 2014, from like 2012-ish, is when we started going down to London, and then those trips down, like really, really sort of put the idea into our heads that like traveling and training go hand in hand, and absolutely sort of just work for each other and make you progress even more. So came to 2014, and we bought this thing called an interrailing ticket. Have you heard of it? You know what it is?
Yeah, I have heard of it. Yeah. I've never done it because I'm from Australia, basically. But
Yeah. So I mean, I think it is just a European thing where you buy. At the time, it was only something like, I think, 250 quid. I think something like that.
Yeah.
And it's
it
basically
was so reasonable back in the day.
Yeah. Like, I mean, to this day, it surprised me, because we did the whole interrailing trip on something like £500, which is outrageous.
So amazing as like an experience that all Europeans could do. Like, I think my girlfriend did it as well when she was like 17, 18, just all around you, and it's just sick. Like,
Yeah, man.
You can still do it. It's a bit more spendy now, I think.
Yeah, I think it's like doubled the price now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that ticket for 250 quid gives you, I think it was like 40 days of essentially unlimited train travel anywhere in Europe, basically, bar a few countries.
And you have to go on like specified types of trains.
That's it. Yeah. You
still
have to
get
like,
around.
You have to like book in advance and just sort of book your seat on the train, and then from there it's free, basically. So, but yeah, it's such a cool experience, man. Like, we started obviously in.
It's an age limited thing as well, isn't it?
Is it? I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
It might
Maybe
be like under 30s or something.
Well, I know. To be fair, I think you're right. Actually, I think it's like 18 to 30. I think you're right. Actually,
It's probably within the same space that does like all the Erasmus and the Erasmus Plus funding. It's like about connecting European youth, which the European Commission puts billions of dollars into.
Oh, right,
so I think it might be from that same pot of funding.
Probably right, to be fair. Yeah. I do remember there being an age limit on it. Now you mention it, to be fair.
But how long were you out there for?
Oh, we did it. So we did the full 40 or 50 days. I can't remember which one it was. Either 40 or 50 days, and we did. So started in the UK, went to Denmark, and then into like Germany. Oh, Denmark, and we visited Sweden. Dipped into what's the gym there called?
In Sweden?
Helsingborg.
I don't know, actually.
What is it? Airwhip.
Oh, Airwhip. Oh, yeah. The iconic one.
That's right, yeah. So dipped into Sweden, went to Airwhip, and then through Germany, and all sort of through Italy, finished it, went to Spain, and then finished back up in France and Amsterdam, I think it was.
Wow.
So we did about, think we did about 12 or 13 countries in 40, 50 days. And yeah, just like kids, like, 'cause as I say, we're all 18 or 19 at the time, just huge backpacks, like sleeping bag, and we're just sleeping on the floor anywhere we can,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
or like hostels if we're feeling bougie, you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But man, what an experience that was. Like, so yeah, lasted about a month and a half we were out there for, did it all on 500 quid, which blows my mind to this
See,
day.
that is amazing.
It's just like,
That
to this
is,
day, it just,
yeah.
I've no idea. We're just surviving on bread and hummus and stuff like that, that was it.
There's
But
that film, Winging It,
heard of it.
with Matt McCreary. It was made by Ryan Taggart. That's his name, right? Yeah,
I
yeah,
think so.
yeah, yeah. And basically, it's about like traveling for free on with parkour. And some of the guys had a bit of money, and like Matt McCreary didn't have money. He had like 250 pounds, and they traveled for like 2 months. Right?
Yeah, they did
It
it,
was
yeah.
like, yeah. So anyone who hasn't seen that, it's worth giving a watch. Because yeah, it's incredible what some of the people in the parkour community can do with really winging it.
I think
So
that's like a big thing as well in
just hummus and
parkour.
bread,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah. Just surviving minimally and like while you're out training and traveling. Because this is the thing, the parkour community, like everyone's quite young, reasonably young. They're all sort of like, 12, 13, 14 to sort of our age now, and so that they had. At some point we'll have had a lot of free time to be able to just go out and
And
all
the
these trips
energy,
and stuff,
isn't it?
and the
Like,
energy
so
for sure.
yeah, I
Yeah,
did some stuff like that, and now I'd rather get an Airbnb if I can. To be
Yeah,
honest,
100%,
like
yeah.
sometimes with the Schlappen guys, I still get roped into sleeping on floors and so on. But yeah, it's a stage in life, and it's awesome to go through. And I feel like you gain so much from it.
Oh,
in
yeah.
terms of like your confidence in your ability to get yourself somewhere and just handle a difficult situation, like a self-imposed.
No, this is
difficult
it. Like
situation,
as well, like personally for me, like on that trip or just before that trip, like I was sort of losing my way a little bit. Like I wasn't training anywhere near the amount I wanted to, and I had like bad relationships with people and stuff like that. And then that trip, when we went on that trip, like honestly changed my life. Like it really, really sort of solidified that like parkour is what I want to be involved with like forever. And just traveling and meeting people and just going to spots and stuff like that, man. Like it just motivated me so much to
If
just
you want to
carry on.
rekindle your motivation for the sport, there's no better way.
Yeah, go
Travel,
to an
travel.
event, go to
Don't
a
have
trip.
expectations. Don't be like, I have to do these jumps, whatever. Just go enjoy yourself, and you will be like, yeah, you'll be fired up.
That
After
was
that,
it. That was it. I might, and like my sort of confidence in my own parkour ability was not there really until that trip. And then once we came home after that trip, I was like, right, I'm locking in now. That's it. That's it. And
Well, that's the thing as well, because it gives you so much motivation. And sometimes, it was like this for me early on. I did a lot of traveling. Sometimes you go on these trips and there's a lot of challenges you don't do, you walk away from, or you think, I should be at this level, I should be capable of this. But because you haven't been consistently training or you're not there, you come away with this frustration, but also motivation. You're like,
Yeah.
right, I want to now I'm so determined to be at the level that if I'm back on that trip, I hit these jumps and I
Yeah.
rise to the occasion.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. 100%.
So even the negative side of that experience is such a positive thing, because
Yeah.
it puts you in a position where it's like, right, like I was almost there. Let me go and
You can just learn
the
from
next
it.
time.
And go, that's it. And yeah, and it just keeps you motivated to travel and go back to these places.
Because then since that, you've somewhat consistently like planned and gone on trips, like parkour trips.
Yeah, for sure. We try our best. Maybe not so much in the past 2 or 3 years, just because everyone's just working now in the group. Everyone's just on full.
Well, that's
time
what I'm
stuff.
saying. Like, yeah. So that's one thing I was going to ask, is how sort of adult life has affected your parkour, let's say.
Yeah.
Travel and so on.
So I mean, for the past 3 years, I've been working full time for a company in Sheffield that basically shoots virtual tours and measured surveys. So
Okay.
It's cool because I'm traveling all over the UK, but I'm just sort of going into buildings and working with these buildings, just scanning them and photographing them and stuff like that. And that is like a lot of my time just goes to that now. But I'm still trying to train as much as I possibly can. I'm still coaching and stuff like that now. So I'm just still in the process of trying to balance everything and get it to a good point where I'm happy with the level I'm training at, and also like consistently doing well in my job as well.
Yeah.
I'm getting there day by day, but it takes some time, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough when you start really spreading yourself thin, because, I mean, yeah, because of the lack of like professional athlete prospects in parkour, like any athlete who's really super serious about, let's say, competing like at a high level, let's say in a sport, almost exclusively will be building their lives around it and doing some part-time work. So
Yeah.
look at the Olympics. There are like 11,000 athletes in the Olympics. Now, the Olympics is an amateur sporting event. There's probably, I don't have the numbers on this, I should look them up, but there's probably only a couple of hundred of them that are professionals in the sense
Yeah.
that they don't, that's like their, where they make their money from,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But the far majority of them are still building their lives around, because they still have to train top, like they're still the best in the world, right?
Yeah,
So they have to train like any other professional athlete, but they have to make money as well. So it's, yeah, I guess it's about finding that balance.
Yeah. I think over time as well, because this is it. Sadly, a lot of this sort of older street media guys are now sort of going just into full-time work. So you've got like Sam Petz, for example, who he was dealing with a lot of injuries, but now he's just purely focused on his full-time job. I think because the injury scared him a little bit, which is,
injuries
completely
plus
reasonable.
adult life, like it's so hard to come back and push back into. I know, like we've had Jay Clark on the podcast, and there was a couple of years where I feel quite strongly that he was the best in the world, right?
Yeah,
And he'll come back occasionally, and he'll still be at a really high level, but he's so frustrated because the amount of time he needs to dedicate to parkour to be back at the level that he'd be happy with is like more than he's able to give right now in his adult life. So it's a hard balance.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do struggle with that, man. Like, just trying to find that balance, as you say, like being able to provide a living for yourself and your family and etc., but also sort of be happy and content with your level as well is tricky. But yeah,
one way to curve that though, which you do very well, is with creative pursuits, right? So you can still be super involved with at like even if you're not at the top like level that you've ever been at as an athlete, dedicating all the time to it, you can still be at the top level as a clothing designer, and like as an event planner, event runner. So
you still be involved then,
exactly, still get involved. And street media more than ever has been involved in the community now since you started the Street Media Social. So how did that come about? The first one was, I don't know, 2-3 years ago?
Yeah, first one was in 2023, so 3 years ago, yeah.
And I even feel like the concept is so strong just from the name.
Yeah.
So obviously it's a jam, but you're not calling it that. You're calling it Street Media Social. So immediately that name puts a strong amount of emphasis on we're going to get together, we're going to have a good time, right? That's clearly what the priority is.
Absolutely.
Beyond anything else. And they have consistently been a good time. So yeah, what brought you the motivation to do that, I guess?
So it was multiple things really. I think one of the main underliers is the lack of sort of street events in the north specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe just generally in the UK.
Generally.
Yeah, generally.
I think so.
To be honest, that's it. So I was really motivated by. I went to the original Store Big Wall Open, which was 2022, I think it was.
That was spectacular.
Yeah, it was so good, man. And that just seeing how they ran that and just having it all at the wall spot but just keeping it like everyone's interested, even though it's one spot. Like everyone's really, really interested.
Well, talk about social, because that was at its core a social event. You had like hundreds of people there. Lots of people flew in. About 20 people took part in the competition on the wall. But everyone had a good time. They had the after party, it was great. So that was at its core a social event, and then a spectating, like a high level selected few who were willing to compete in front of hundreds of people on a super dangerous wall, right? So yeah, for sure.
So that off the back of like coming back home from that event, I was just like really feeling there was a gap in the UK in general for those types of events where it's specifically not really a competitive event. Like it's more of just a get together and a good time type thing. And then the after party aspect of it really sort of took a shine to it, because just the way everyone was at the after party at that original Big Wall Open was just really, really cool. Like you had all little individual stalls everywhere. You had like people from the community on the DJ decks and stuff like that. It was just such a good time, man. So
that's the thing. There's such an appetite for it because everyone, like people love getting together in the parkour community. We all like really love spending time with each other. It's such a fun time, and there's so like not enough of it. So even like when I did the Project Next Gen thing and we had the after party there. To this day, I get people like, "Oh, it was such a fun time, man." And the reason they say that, it was a good time, but they also say that is because there haven't been 15 of them since.
No,
you know what I mean? thing that because there's so few of them, that's still fresh in their mind. So you're right, there was just a huge gap in the market and still is, you know.
I think that Project Next Gen sort of the premiere and the after party was definitely another thing that motivated me because again it is.
Was that before the first Street Media Social?
I think it was because what
I think you're right. Yeah,
I think it was
21. Yeah,
was it 21 or 22?
21, 22, something like that.
It was 23.
23.
I think so. Maybe
Good that you know that.
maybe yeah because we did Bilbao was 2022.
Okay, so yeah, it was a year after. It was a year after Bilbao.
My brain ain't working. I think it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
No,
I'm sure.
it does. In my mind, it was, I guess, before.
Yeah.
I'll take some credit.
I
Sure.
think it was. Yeah, mate, take it. I'm
Yeah,
giving it.
yeah.
I'll take it.
But yeah, because they're so rare, it's so fun, and they hadn't had anything in London for eons, right?
No, yeah. Like, but before your event, I cannot remember the last time, other than like Daggett which sadly I never even attended.
Yeah,
it's a bit.
Which is a fun event, but not like an international jam.
No,
It hasn't been
yeah.
since my one, and before my one, it was years before there was an international jam. In
Yeah,
London.
true.
And then the next one's coming up quite soon.
Coming
hopefully.
up very, very, very soon.
Yeah.
We'll
But yeah. So
get
how
into
did
that.
what was the first one then?
So yeah, the first one we ever did was in the hometown of Sheffield, of course.
Absolutely, yeah.
Where I was living at the time, and a few other people who were also living in Sheffield at the time from Street Media, and yeah, man, as I say, it was the lack of events, lack of non-competitive events in the north that really sort of pushed us to get it started. So we sort of had an idea of the concept in 2023, like months, like maybe only 6 months before we even like ran it. So it was very sort of rushed. The first one, we sort of came together. Right, we want to do this. Let's get some DJs on. Pick some spots out, make a spot map.
I love that
pick some
that's the
challenges.
first thing you said.
What?
Let's get some DJs on.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't even come into the mind of a lot of people. But it's
Yeah,
starting to become very important is to have
Yeah.
that after party, that social gathering. But like you said, social at its core, that's the first thing.
Yeah. And like, so sorting out all the music, because one thing everyone in Street Media likes to do is go out and have a good time. And,
Sure.
You know what I mean? And we all like music and stuff like that. So yeah, man, we actually went to Arthur first because obviously he's a DJ and like he's a big producer, and so we got him involved straight away. And but yeah, man, it was stressful, the first one, because none of us had any idea what we were doing.
It was stressful. Like when I ran the next gen thing, the event went really well, but I didn't have a good time. I had a terrible time.
Yeah.
I was so stressed.
You're stressing out. That's it.
I was just stressed.
Mate, I mean, I do enjoy the socials, but
That's good.
I do feel though that like every single one there is a couple of hours around there, like trying to pull my hair out, It's like,
I mean, that's the
stuff.
game. Yeah, that's events,
But yeah, man, the Sheffield one was really cool, and it sort of set the standard and motivated us to just keep pushing it from there, basically, and get the next one planned and the next.
Was the first one still had like good people turning up, right?
Oh mate, it was a big turnout. Like it was, I think we had just about somewhere between 80 and 100 people for the first one.
Yeah.
Including some big names like Dom. Dom came down for the first
yeah.
one. He was in Sheffield.
And
Who
that's two
else?
things. That's one, the appetite's there. It's also respect for you and your brand, and there's like an assurance that people are like, oh yeah, like it's a big event because you're putting it on, because Street Media is putting it on, right?
Yeah.
So there's definitely like the name you've built up added some weight to it, right? Yeah, for sure.
100%. But yeah, man, it was really cool. But again, like as you say, you were stressing out when it came to the after party part. There was like things were just so close to completely falling apart. And that's happened every single year. Like there's always been just a huge spanner in the works in the very last minute, and we're just sort of like having to work around it and stuff like that. But it taught us a lot. I think that first one taught us a lot in sort of how to run events, how to like maneuver the parkour community specifically to a certain city and like around the city, and sort of just chaperoning them around.
Well, that's so hard as well. I remember at Next Gen, I was like, right, next spot, and I'd go with like 5 people. Just no one.
Yeah,
no
turn
one
around, everyone's still
my,
there.
My ex-girlfriend was there. He doesn't do parkour, and she was like, no one respects you.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this guy, it's not really that. No one respects authority in parkour. So it's just like they just don't care, and they eventually make their way there. But she just couldn't understand, like, everyone's just ignoring you. It's so hard to it's herding sheep at like the highest level.
That's why every event you'll see me there with my huge megaphone
That
with the big bell on it. So I'm just like, they can't ignore me at that point. They've got to come.
You got to be kind of aggressive with it.
Yeah, for sure. They're treat them like kids. They're really, really cool, intelligent, and friendly kids. But when they're in that event, they're just like children. So
they're playing, Yeah. You got to get them away from the play to play somewhere else.
That's it. Yeah. We're done playing here. We're gonna go play over here now. come on.
But that is a superpower in parkour because of the lack of sort of organizational ability of most people. When you do have that, it's quite special, and you can
Yeah,
put things on.
I think that's something I've adapted to over the years and
Yeah.
like learned from definitely is just sort of like managing big groups and communicating with loads of people at once and stuff like that, and
Just being a bit of a professional, to be honest.
yeah,
Like,
trying to just be a bit of a professional. I think it's push me in that direction for sure. And obviously we've run the first one in Sheffield, the second one in Nottingham,
Yeah.
the third one, most recent one in Bristol, and the fourth one is coming very soon to London.
cool, exclusive announcement. I say that.
Yeah.
If the announcement isn't out by the time this podcast drops, we're gonna have an issue. But I've already been telling people the dates, which should be out by the time it drops.
Now
I think a week from today of recording, you're gonna drop the announcement.
that's it.
So
That's
it's the
it.
17th, 18th, 19th of July. Off the
Correct.
top of my head.
That's
See,
it,
I know
that's it.
this.
He's on it.
You're
He's on it.
pulling out your phone.
I had to look at my
I know
calendar
the
then,
event dates because I've been telling people, and it's funny. I even had my girlfriend's friend like try to organize a thing, like, oh, come down to my family's little house in the Cotswolds, and I was like, nah.
Not gonna
No,
happen.
no. So I'm glad I asked you for the dates because I was like, it's Street Media social time, baby.
Yeah, man. So 17th, 18th, 19th of July, 2026. I'm sure we'll have announced by the time you guys are listening.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be the Street Media Social version 4 in London. We've
London
got some really,
City.
really good spot plans out. We've got some good competition, like little mini competitions, but
Yeah.
prizes to win. And then we've got a really good after party coming up in sort of south-ish London. So
Yeah, I'm
stay
excited.
Stay tuned.
And I guess the biggest hurdle with events in London and the difference when you have these gyms where you can host people is hosting people, right? Having
Yeah.
somewhere to stay. So, I mean, for next year, I tried to get as many people as I could to host, give them a free ticket. But once that's exhausted, like, you're looking at get an Airbnb for 2 people, and if 16 people end up sleeping there, that's the game.
It is what it is. That's
This is not financial advice.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. It's
but
just,
yeah, like start planning.
Yeah,
if you've
yeah.
got connections in London, try to secure them.
for sure. And as you said, the sort of method you did with handing out a few free tickets, we're going to be doing the same. So
So if you're hosting,
if you're
get a free
hosting,
ticket,
that's
yeah.
it. If
It's
it-
a nice way to do it.
if you're willing to host, just let us know and we'll sort you out. We'll sort you guys out.
Nice.
That's it.
Sweet. And then on the so the event, you're gonna have jam prizes. Any teasers of like little things you'll be doing prizes for, or how you're gonna run it?
So we've got a few. As I say, it's a non-competitive
Yeah, it's
event,
not a
really.
competition, but
We are going to be giving a few giveaway prizes out for just little random challenges, basically. So I won't go into too much detail, but I will tell you one which I'm looking forward to is the most daring sticker placement is going to win a
That's it.
prize.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
on the day, we'll be handing out a load of Street Media stickers, just like the little logo sticker, and whoever places it in the most daring place and proves it with a photo is going to win a little prize.
Now, last time you explained to me, you didn't use that word daring.
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking of all the illegalities that might occur. Yeah.
No breaking and entering.
Yeah.
But it could be anywhere in the city, somewhere high up, somewhere interesting. It could be on a landmark.
The first thing I think is someone's gonna put one on like a police car.
I'm going. I want top of the shard.
Yeah.
That's
Top
what I
of the
want.
shard. Yeah. Get Adam in there. Who called the shard.
Yeah. That's true.
That's crazy.
So yeah.
That day that'll be fun, and then some of the other ones like
We got a few different ones off the top of my head.
I'd like to see a big trick comp in there. At some
Yes,
point.
so that is going to be one for sure. So as you know, we're going to be one of the spots is going to be along the beach at South Bank.
Oh, that's right, onto the sand.
Onto
Big
the
trick
sand.
onto the sand.
That's it. So there's going to be a big trick competition.
Nothing like a big trick comp onto the sand.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
So we don't get too hurt.
So
Right?
saving the injuries. there, that's it. I mean, obviously we were there not long ago, scouted out that location. It was the first time I'd properly seen that location, just outside the.
So Noah has been doing work on this. He's come to London multiple times to plan the event, film little promo stuff. So
Been shooting.
it's hopefully all that stuff will be out by now. But
Yeah, me and Mr. Dorr and Ethan as well.
Yeah,
gotta
Adam
shout
Dorr,
out Ethan Radden, man.
Yeah.
He's been killing it. So by the time this is out, the announcement video will be out. So get your tickets, man.
get your flights. So
Get your
obviously
flights.
some international people listen to this pod. Like, yeah, it's one of the big international events at this point, and we want everyone to get involved, you know, and get the accommodation situation in London figured out.
Yeah, sort it out, lads. You've got, we're not giving you, we're not giving you a full year. We're giving you about 5 months to sort it out. But that's more than enough time.
That's all right.
And this is the benefit of it being in London for this one. But I mean, obviously, London for multiple reasons, but the travel aspect of London.
Yes, cheapest city in
So
the world to
easy.
fly in and out of London.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Not to be in, but
get yourself into Heathrow, nice and cheap, and go from there, innit? So,
yeah, man. Oh, mate, I'm so excited about this.
Man,
It's super fun. It's good. We're gonna obviously London on the. It's like the most iconic city for parkour, but we've been absolutely lacking on the events for years. And we've got this one, and also because of that lacking in March, which will probably be similar time to when this podcast is released. The 28th of March is the London Massive. So they had the Super XXL Awards, which they do every year, and they rescheduled it for like 2 weeks later, and they're like, no, we're going to run a massive event. I don't think it's maybe as international as yours might be. It's not in the middle of summer, but they want to run a big UK event because we've been lacking so much, right?
Is that going to be at Yard?
That will be at Yard,
nice,
28th of March, and then that evening they'll still do the Super XXL Awards,
Cool.
right?
Sounds good.
But yeah, so we've got those two already in the calendar. So I'm hoping more big UK events.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I live in London, so I want London events.
Yeah,
They're gonna happen.
Yeah, you're gonna have a bunch of Northerners coming down to London to sort it out for you. That's it.
Well, that's it, and as they should. I want the Northerners to come down and put on, because for years London has been so dominant in the sport.
Yeah,
it still kind of has that image, but the new generation in London, there is a couple of very talented athletes, but not many. To be honest. It's just
I do feel like over time, maybe this is. I mean, I've been in the game for 15 years now, which is outrageous to think about.
Yeah.
I turned 30 a week today as well.
Is it?
Yeah, 30 a week today.
Happy birthday,
It's
man.
outrageous. Thank you.
Yeah. That's you must be having a crisis.
But yeah, I'm getting there. I'm gonna buy a big like Harley Davidson soon. All that. But yeah, man, like been around for a while, and I've seen the London community like shrink and grow and change, and it's just different now. I feel like there's different pockets in London, rather than one big London community. People are sort of doing their own thing,
which is kind of an issue. And then the other day it was sunny on like sunny Saturday in London. No one was out.
Yeah,
great. It was Valentine's Day, but there are a lot of single people.
So come on. You're not all dated.
So exactly. Which is disappointing. But obviously these XXL guys seem to have unified people.
Yeah,
because there was no one out on the sunny Saturday, right? On Valentine's Day, I was resigningly disappointed, because during the day I was free, in the evening I had plans. But the next day there were like 50 people at Yard while it was raining.
Yeah.
So they're keeping us together and doing very strong. But on the northern side, like, I just feel like the next generation of northern talent is massive, and the community is growing, and it's slowly gonna start pushing into that London territory. But the best way to do that, unfortunately, is to come to London and to throw down on the London stuff.
For sure.
Because people still recognize that as a barometer for like high level parkour.
Yeah, absolutely. Like over time, I see we've had loads, like, countless times of people coming up from the south to the north, but I do rarely see people going from the north to the south.
Yeah,
I rarely see people coming from Nottingham, Derby, Sheffield, Leeds, Manchester, wherever, down to London, which is a shame, because
and it used to happen in your sort of earlier days a lot more, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like there'd be at least sort of monthly trips to London, or like to we didn't really go to Bristol back in the day, so it was mainly sort of London or even like Cambridge as well sometimes. But yeah, I think
it's like once a year.
Stopped.
But you got to also give them an excuse, because they always talk about it, but I feel like it's hard to trigger that change in a regular pattern of behavior.
Yeah,
and one way to do that is by running an event. So
absolutely.
I had all the Team Reality guys in here yesterday, and I was telling them all to come to both of these events. Because it's like they always talk, oh, I want to come to London. You got a date now.
Yeah,
you got an excuse, and it'll be sick. I was talking with about getting Ben Reddington on the pod, and he wasn't available, but he was saying, I'm coming back from injury, and I was like, come to this event.
Yeah,
it said your event, obviously, and I think hopefully he'll be there, right?
I hope so, because we have a good ties with Ben, like from way back in the day.
Legend.
Yeah, man, legend, absolute legend.
Yeah, man. But anyone listening to this anywhere sort of in the vicinity where you can get yourself to London from sort of all around Europe, whatever, come to this event. It'll be sick.
Do it.
Tie it in with a Europe trip.
One thing I will say on that is obviously the entire event, well, I say the entire event, the entire street jam aspect of it is completely free. It costs nothing at all. You know, the only part that costs is the after party, and that is an optional. You know, if you're not an after
It won't
party
be penny though. I don't.
no, I mean, I'll tell you right now, it'll be £10.
£10.
£10.
So you know, £10.
You know what I mean? £10 to support. You know.
Yeah, I think it was the same for the film when I ran.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So there's no excuse.
£10, and can you leak any of the lineup?
Oh, what music lineup?
Yeah.
I don't want to go into it too much because we're still organising the final little details of it. But we have got some good people involved. We've got potentially a grime artist getting involved,
Yeah,
which
like
I've spoken to you
a
about.
decent name grime artist.
Yeah.
If you don't know grime, you won't know them. If you're into grime,
You'll know
for
sure. And then one thing I will say for certain, which I'm really really excited about, because we nearly had them on last year, but there was a bit of a mess up at the last minute. As I say, you know, always at the last hurdle, there's something going wrong with these events. But Charlie May's band, Hitmarker, his punk band, is going to be playing a live set there as well. So it's going to be just.
And see, I don't listen to punk music, but it's the kind of music that's better live anyway. It's
absolutely
like energy.
Yeah.
Like I went to this one punk kind of punk rock band in Germany that were close with the Schlappen. I don't listen to their music normally, but this show was incredible.
Yeah.
Like it's the kind of music that's built for live shows.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that will be sick.
Like even myself, like I don't, you know, I'd never listen to punk like, on Spotify or you know in my own time or whatever. But like, there is probably no other genre that I'd prefer to see live, you know, because it's just like.
Well,
all, you know,
it's not punk, but OMFG had like at the last one I went to, they had 2 nights of live music, you know, and the metal night, I don't listen to metal, but it was incredible. It was incredible, like that, you know. And the hip hop, which I listened to hip hop almost exclusively, was on the next night, and it felt a lot flatter, to be honest. It wasn't nearly as good because the live energy of the metal was amazing. And in Scandinavia, they do that really well.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that. You're not just getting a sick parkour event, but you're getting like a great night. And it's looking to be on the Saturday as well.
Yeah, that's it. So the after party will be on the Saturday.
Which is awesome, you know, because it's a lot easier planning wise to do it on a Sunday. But doing it on a Saturday means we can really go for it.
Yeah, that's it. So Friday will be a sort of a chill jam day. Saturday is definitely the main event day at sort of the most iconic spots in London, followed by the after party, and then Sunday is going to be a bit of a chill, like water jumping day, basically.
Perfect.
So we're going to have a prize for the biggest splash as well.
Biggest splash. Maybe Lucian will win it again with his like 1080 dots.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate. I think that's a good format. So Friday warm up, Saturday just destroy yourself, and then Sunday have a chill one.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Oh, mate, unreal.
I'm excited.
All right. To kind of finish off, just a couple of quick ones. One that I sort of ask everyone, and we've touched on briefly, but I always get good answers to this, is the best transferable skills you've gained from parkour into other areas of life. You know, people bring things like creativity, confidence, but there's all kinds of random ones or that I've heard, and like specific examples of people's lives. Like,
I think for me, two big ones that like, you know, I sort of play a role every day in my life now, including in my full-time job, is having an eye for buildings in particular. Like, because my full-time job is very, very, very included in buildings and sort of building measurements and marketing buildings and stuff like that as well. So I feel, because over the years parkour, like I've been looking at buildings and seeing gaps on buildings and seeing what's possible in just like concrete structures and stuff like that. Has sort of led me into this job that I'm in now, basically. So it definitely helps in that. And then I think the other thing is travel. Definitely like traveling a lot. And I drive so much now. I drive all over the UK constantly, all the time for my job. And I really enjoy it because I really enjoy being in different places because of parkour. I think just going from city to city, like seeing what spots are around, seeing what communities are around and stuff like that. Because I'm always working in London now, and it's great because there's just a whole community here, and I can just pop in and see who's around, etc. So I'd say.
Yeah, because the other day you just put a message into your story like, "Oh, who's in London?" I think I responded to it. That's it.
So I'm just around all the time, and I think traveling a lot from my early parkour days
And it's sort of the
led me to
urge
that.
to travel.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
sort of gave you the drive to want to travel.
Absolutely, yeah. 2025, I didn't travel and didn't even leave the country in 2025. First year, like, since training that I didn't leave the country, and
Generational lock-in.
that's it. Yeah, yeah. And now 2026 is here. I'm turning 30. I'm getting old,
Come
and I want to carry on traveling just as much as possible. So,
OMFG, brother.
yeah, that is probably
A
one.
month before your event as well, so it gives you a bit of
Yes.
inspiration.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We are already a few of us from Sheffield are already planning a trip there. So
sick.
for sure, I need to
And
get there, man.
you know, for as expensive as that country is, the flights there are nothing from.
Yeah, I've heard that.
They're so cheap.
I've heard. Yeah, yeah, man. So OMFG will be the one this year, but yeah, I think just going back to transferable skills, like being involved with photography and videography as well has helped me a lot in the job I'm in now, for sure.
Yeah.
So I think there's so much
having
to
that eye.
gain. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think there's just so much to gain from being involved in parkour and in the parkour community, in terms of like the skills that you'll just pick up on the way, but not even really notice that you'll pick up. You know, like stuff like as simple as confidence, and as simple as sort of like awareness of your own body, and like, you know, sort of preventing injury, and learning how to travel and sort of get out in the world from young, like, I think is really beneficial, really
Yeah,
beneficial.
100%. And so we've covered a lot of like your goals and things you want to do. So I just want to finish on like, where do you want to see the sport of parkour 5 to 10 years? Like, what do you want to see it grow to? What opportunities do you want to see pop up? That kind of thing.
I want to see more clothing, more physical products that tie in really, really well with parkour.
Yeah.
Things that can, you know, sort of support people in traveling, and support people in training in general and stuff like that. I think the main thing for me though is events. Like, I think events
Yeah.
are play such an important role
Yeah.
in the development these days. Like, maybe less so back in the day, but now the community is bigger and bigger and bigger, and it is growing, it's expanding. I think events are the way forward to push the sport, not necessarily to push the sport, but just to bring people together.
Also to make the connections. That's how I made like most of my like good friends in parkour.
Yeah.
Was going to these events all around Europe. you know?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, same here, man. Like, it can just do so much for you, and I think having more and more events as time goes on is just gonna keep people networking, moving around, and just being inspired to train in new environments and in new ways.
Beautiful. Yeah. So if you're like running a little team, getting involved, think about running an event like the Bank. Oh yeah. So this is another one. The Bank Boys did an event last year. So
Yeah.
we got the London Massive. We've got the Street Media Social, but the Bank guys will almost certainly run an event as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This year.
I sadly missed the one that they did recently.
Yeah, but this year, like they don't have a date yet, but I think they will be running another one. So you know, regardless of how big it is, the event's super important. Keep people together.
Yeah, man.
Keep us moving. Yeah, man. Thanks so much for coming on.
My guy.
Nice one.
My pleasure.
Parkour.uk, best URL in the business for any community news, events, you know, content, more podcasts, and obviously how to start parkour if you haven't already. So jump on there, and thanks for listening.
Big up.